This is the iPhone 6, a phone that came out September 9th, 2014 and originally came with iOS 8. It is now running its last and final iOS version 12.5.7. And that makes it just a little bit out of date. But that's not really the only feature or factor or anything about this phone that really makes it out of date. There's a lot of other factors. 1 GB of LPDDR3 RAM. Some models came with 16 GB. This specific one has 64, but 16 GB in 2025? Can't imagine. The Apple A8 processor. Sure, fast at the time, not anymore. The main camera is also 8 megapixels. It's kind of alright, but really, actually it's kind of not. It's just garbage. The original battery that this phone would have come with was 1800 milliamp hours. This one has a replacement battery that is 2000, so technically it's better than it was before, and it does last for quite a while, and actually just makes the phone more usable if you replace the battery anyway. I will say it is quite a bit lighter than most newer phones as far as I can tell, so that's something it has going for it. This phone also has a 4.7-inch Retina display. The display is definitely small by today's standards, but the Retina part of it is actually still pretty decent. This phone also does have one other pretty big issue, and that is the bend gauge. This phone doesn't have it that bad compared to some other examples. But you can see it is just a little bit wavy. But overall, the phone itself is actually still usable. You can still use 4G networks, which is what this phone uses, so you can still activate it perfectly fine. You can also even still use most social apps like Facebook, Instagram Messenger, Discord, and Pinterest and LinkedIn all work fine. TikTok also does work pretty fine, but it's also laggy. You have to give it a little bit to actually load, but once it does start loading things, it works okay. I'm pretty sure Twitter would work if Twitter still existed, but it's now X now, and the way Apple does apps is that it's like some com.twitter.something, but it's still com.twitter, and com.twitter doesn't exist anymore. I think it's com.x now or something like that. And Snapchat is the only application, as far as I can tell, that says it needs an update to work. And I suppose YouTube is also a social app, and it also just does not work. Just like Snapchat, it requires an update to work, but you can't update it anymore because it's no longer supported on iOS 12. Other than YouTube though, every other Google app works fine. Like you can see my 11,000 emails there on Gmail. The Google app works fine. It all just works. Of course, all of the Apple apps still work perfectly fine. And there are quite a few apps that don't work. For example, apps like Cash App and most store apps like eBay and, Sam's Club just don't work at all. Temu does work though, so if you wanted to shop like a billionaire on your iPhone 6, you totally can. There's also quite a few games that still work, like Angry Birds still works, Candy Crush still works, Subway Surfers, Temple Run, and Crossy Roads still work. Bowmasters does not work. I haven't tested all of the games at all, but for the most part, a lot of them still kind of work fine. You can even download and use some versions of Minecraft as well. Overall, if you replace the battery on your iPhone 6, you totally can just use it perfectly fine, and it just works. So yeah, if you really wanted to, you could use one of these phones in 2025. However, if you're looking into getting a 6, you should just get a 6S. The 6S is just better all around, better specs. It's a year newer. It has the same, Retina display, newer chips, more RAM, stuff like that. It's just better. The iPhone 6S also doesn't have bend gate, and it ended off on iOS 15 instead of 12, which means it has a lot more support and usability. So yeah, that's the video. A quick little video on the usability of an iPhone 6 in 2025. It's usable. If I had to rate it on a scale, I'd say it's like 45% usable.